I have a pretty serious resting face. Some people have also referred it to as the resting bitch face. But there's this one book that has made me smile through and through. A made up romance between the made up Prince of England and the made up son of the first woman president of the United States. From I can't be in the same vicinity as you to I will literally kill anyone who lays a finger on you kind of trope. A cute, fluffy, adorable romance that makes my heart flutter. Genuinely not my type. I don't like romance novels. I rarely read any young adult romance books. Main reason is that the storyline is kind of predictable and the tropes are also very familiar. So I'm pretty happy with my suspenses and mysteries and thrillers. Yet, Red, White and Royal Blue is one of my favorite books of all time. I have loved, enjoyed and relished every single second of reading this book. This book made me laugh out loud, fangirl over the main characters, make my heart flutter and make me cry all at once. When Alex was a kid, before anyone knew his name, he dreamt of love like it was a fairy tale. As if it would come sweeping into his life on the back of a dragon one day. When he got older, he learned about love as a strange thing that would fall apart no matter how badly you wanted it. A choice you make anyway. He never imagined it'd turn out that he was right both the times. The story of the book is literally what I said in the intro. What happens when America's first son falls in love with the Prince of Wales? When his mother became President of the United States, Alex Claremont Diaz was promptly cast as the American equivalent of a young royal. Handsome, charismatic, genius, his image is pure millennial marketing gold for the White House. There's only one problem though. Alex has a beef with an actual prince, Henry, across the pond. And when the tabloids get hold of a photo involving an Alex and Henry altercation, US-British relations take a turn for the worse. Heads of family and state and other handlers devise a plan for damage control. Stage a truce between the two rivals. What at first begins as a fake, Instagrammable friendship grows deeper and more dangerous than either Alex or Henry could have imagined. Soon Alex finds himself hurtling into a secret romance with a surprisingly unstuffy Henry that could derail the presidential campaign and upend two nations. It raises the question, can love save the world after all? Where do we find the courage and the power to be the people we are meant to be? And how can we learn to let our true colors shine through? One issue that I often have with romance novels is that I'm not given enough insight into the lives of the two characters as individual people. To learn more about their dreams, their aspirations, their likes, dislikes, their personality traits. Because honestly, for me, a love story or a romance gets thrilling, exciting, and fun only when I know the two people as separate entities and I realize that these two people do fit together. That when they come together and form a relationship, it would be absolutely amazing. That is when you grow to root for the two characters as individual people and also for the love that they share together. This is done exceedingly well in Red, White and Royal Blue. And I'm not just talking about the two main characters. I absolutely loved Henry and Alex. I was fangirling over them for almost the entirety of the book. But also the supporting characters. Families, friends, each person's character arc was written very beautifully and you could see why they fit into the story so well. The book is what it is today only and only because of the two main leads and their character arcs. Alex is shown as someone who's extremely smart, witty, charismatic, out there in the world, confident, giving thoughtful interviews and being on the cover at GQ at 18. Henry, on the other hand, is shown to be very shy, reserved, sweet, gentle and sophisticated. But as the story progresses, you get glimpses into the wild side of Henry's personality. The defiant, rebellious nature that he carries. And honestly, I lived for those few snippets into his personality. You can see that while these two people have completely opposite personalities, they fit together so perfectly. The love shared between them is passionate, fierce, fiery. But at the same time, it's gentle, compassionate, and sweet. I would also like to point out the major criticism that this novel faces, or possibly the only flaw that I could find in its approach in storytelling, was that it involves a lot of political figures whose representation at some points was a little too idealistic or stereotypical in its approach. We're talking about two of the greatest nations in the world here. Yet incidents that would cause international crisis are treated as mere inconveniences, resolved a little too quickly. See, it wasn't such a great problem for me when I was reading the book because I was fully invested in the world that the author has set for me. I was looking at it purely as a fictional novel and I was too busy enjoying whatever was happening into the storyline at that point. So, if you take the story as purely a work of fiction and fully buy into the story and the narrative that the author is trying to portray, I think it will be quite an enjoyable read. 421 pages, this book, this romantic comedy, this witty, heartfelt, enemies to lovers rom com touched me in a way that romance novels rarely do. It made me laugh, it made me cry. It reminded me just how powerful and healing a good love story can be. It didn't just entertain, it offered warmth, hope, and a sense of being seen. Red, White, and Royal Blue isn't just a romance novel. It's a reminder that love, no matter how proud, loud, or messy, is something that's always worth rooting for. Even after all this, if you still don't want to read the book, there's also the film adaptation of Red, White, and Royal Blue on Amazon Prime Video. It's absolutely lovely, heartwarming, and cute. You can watch that.